Now we're gonna get the Hillbilly truck loaded up on the trailer. I need to level it out, make sure it's level, and then we're gonna be able to take our measurements on the body to make sure that everything is mounted on this frame correctly. And we've got to redo the bed mounts for the back and build a bed floor and stuff, so we're gonna do it on this thing. Okay, gonna unpack the Hillbilly truck. Oh, watch the fingers. That hurts. Pinched them. Okay. Clean all this stuff out later. Oh, we gotta smooth these wipers down. We don't have a motor on there. There's a vacuum operated motor, but it doesn't work. So I got an electric one for a Jeep. I'm gonna try to fit that in there. Yeah. Runs pretty good. I just want to go through the mounts, beef up the ones for the cab, and if they're off at all, I want to adjust them, because it might be, you know, they might not be perfect. Something about the front end doesn't look like it's sitting on there perfectly level. And then the bed, you can hear it rattling around. It's tack welded onto the frame, and it needs some real mounts and bolts so that it can be removed. Oh man, I messed up my finger. That piece of wood. All right, let's get some electrical tape bandages going on. Okay, that looks better. This one's got kind of a window that rolls down. I don't know. Let's go up in there. You can use the camera to actually see over the front end a little bit. Like you're going right off the edge. Okay, if we straighten out, we'll be good. A little masking tape and some electrical, well, masking paper. All right, that doesn't look remotely close. Okay, you know, the cab angle's in, so it's hard to know. That actually looks pretty dang good. It's maybe a little over that way, but it's not gonna matter. call that good. I had a difference of frame height. Well, I have a difference of body heights, and I think that's coming down to those body mounts. I don't like the body mounts to begin with. It looks like something I would make, but I didn't actually make that. I'd like to see some gussets on there to strengthen that up. So this is sitting a lot lower than the other side. I can tell that because of the fender measurements from the fender, but even just from here to the tire, here to the trailer, all the way around. So that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna disconnect that there and either remove that mount or just try to build another one on top, because that's gonna be pretty hard to get that out at this point. So I suppose I could, you know, bend on it. But I need to come up at least 1.5 inches. This side is significantly lower. See this gap in here? It's about 5 inches on this side. Closer to 7 over here. So I'd like it to sit, I like how it sits on this side, nice and high. We got some big tires, some big 30-inch tires to fit on these factory Ranger wheels. But this is a Ranger frame and engine drivetrain. This is a 2001 Ranger, and this is a 51 Ford body. Fits on there pretty good. It needs mounts for the back. See, these are just, it's just tacked in there. So I want to make some actual mounts that bolt down. This was not even connected. I mean, that's okay as long as we can unbolt it. You know, we can work with something like that, but we can't have it just tack welded to the frame, because then we won't be able to take it off. And it's not sitting 100% straight right now. Yeah, so it's been added on to fill in the difference, which is gonna be kind of cool for the 4x4 look, you know, with some bigger tires on it. Keep the ride height. So we got her, she's all registered and everything. We gotta make a better license plate mount than a 2x4. Okay, we'll go up, see if we can break that body mount loose. There it goes. This one's loose and cleaned up, so it's going to go up about another 3/4 inch to where it was before. And I think I'm going to make some gussets on the back. Have to be careful up there because that's the fuel tank, and the fuel line is right behind there. Now this little mount, I'm going to try to reach him from up on top. Looks like a 3/4. Gotta get down in there. Right down there. Yep, I'm on it. Okay. Gotta put this camera down for a seckie. That nut's off, it's sitting right there. So this whole body section should come up. So got this, jacking this up, and you can see the frame's just kind of coming up with it, then drop it back down. Yeah, so see, we're way off that. We'll see where we need to be. But what we're gonna do is figure out what the height is and then put some blocks underneath the cab so it's back on top of the frame. Same thing front and back. And that way the weight is on the frame and we can lower this down and we're not lifting up the suspension. So we've got an accurate height. Hey buddy, what you doing?
You don't really ever want anything.
Really? Well, he's probably getting a lot to eat over there. Hey buddy.
You just walk in here and hop up on that chair for a little
Come
while.
on, kitty.
Come on, buddy. Here's your chair.
Meow. Look at him, he's a good boy. What's your name, feller?
Cats are assholes.
What's your name, buddy? Hey, Kenny.
Ed. You hadn't had any a long time. I don't know what that black shit is. Just drink it. Don't worry about it.
You got your milk. I got my milk, mister.
Yeah, I can pet him.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Drink it all. You come back and drink a little more later.
Look at how much milk are you gonna drink, buddy? You're just, I mean, that thing was almost full. That's a lot of milk, buddy. Okay, so I got a new bolt in here, raised this side up, it's level where it needs to be. I ended up just adding additional spacer from the Uncle truck, one of these guys. And I'm gonna put one of these on the bottom too, just for giggles. That guy's welded in. This one, I'm gonna add a piece of material to bolt this guy to. Gonna bolt that in and then weld that to the frame. So that's for the body. That'll help support some of the fender weight. So that's good. Okay. That looks all right. Let's get in there with the flapper. Okay, so that's looking all right. Got a couple pockets in there. We'll fill in here real quick here. Yeah. Okay. rusty old metal with 4 coats of different color paint on it. And then you attach it to an old truck with 4 different types of paint on it. I'm gonna cut this guy in half and then put this angle iron behind this flat piece, clean up those edges so I can weld it along the top, and then I'll just weld on the side of that piece that I'm trying to brace up there. Then I'm gonna turn my attention over to this side, clean those up a little bit, weld that angle iron up on the top, and clean up this guy. This is okay because this is pretty much on top of the frame, and it's, you know, it's a big fat piece of plate. So now it's sitting the way it's supposed to be, 33 3/8 on that side. I checked. What I did before I started measuring was I made sure that my lower arms were the same, and I made sure the tires were aired up exactly. So then I got the same height from right where the sway bar is down on both sides. So that ruled out the suspension. And then I made sure and put the full weight of the body down and adjusted, you know, once I adjusted the height to the same on both sides. So this side was a lot lower and it had some loose panels, but basically the bumper didn't really come into this line, which it does. And the only reason it doesn't line up real good now is because it's just bent. But that's cool. That's it's part of the character. Okay, I think that's as tight as it gets, which is fine. Abracobble 101. That's where you take old. This is just the simplest way to do this. Give it a little bit more rigidity. Okay, this side is done. She's all welded up. Yeah, buddy. Woohoo! Here's how I'm doing the stenciling. This is a sign I had made for Al for the fence, so I just took it down and then just pressing on it with my hand to get it nice and tight where I'm spraying. So I'll spray this area and then move on over here, press it down. That way you get crisper lettering. Just working my way around. And I've got it, I know the dimension from here to the bottom of the sign. Just took a spray tip off another can. This is pretty old paint, but it's the perfect brown. Get down brown, boogie down brown. Doesn't have to look super crisp because We want it to kind of have that aged look. That's why I didn't even prep the door really, just going right over it. It's got that peel and paint. Yeah. Yeah, that works. It's kind of cool, the brown really blends into the truck. Okay, so on this other side, I'm gonna use the same angle iron, but I'm gonna get smart and cut it in half, because there's some bolts behind that bracket that I'm bolting it up or welding it up to. And if I just allow the space with two pieces on the side of the bracket, I can actually set it tight up against there. So I'm gonna cut her. There we go. This is what I'm talking about here. See, I can set this right directly behind that. Whereas if I had, what I did on the other side is I had those bolts, so I had a little gap. So I'm gonna clean the side of that up and up here, get some fresh metal on the side, and then I'll be able to weld it all down there and up here. That just is gonna make this piece stronger. I mean, if you look at the mounts for the rear of the cab, it's kind of interesting. It's got a little rubber joint there so it can actually move little bits. Then we're going to start taking the bed off. Okay, so those pieces and then I just cleaned up the mounts a tiny bit, but I mean, I'm not going to spend a ton of time grinding on those. Probably want to come in and zap some in there to fill that big gouge. I'll do that real quick. Well, it's all loosened up. I just gotta take my license plate off. I think we need a better system for this. So this'll come right off of here. I'm gonna wedge it up with some wood. Then I can get the forks under it. Okay, that looks good. There's the bed. It's gone. It's probably a better way to do this, but what I'm doing is just using popping some screws in here and just pulling this. I mean, it was real caved in here, so I'm just prying this up, get these low spots out, and then we'll just fill the holes, tack them, or I don't know. Pull this guy up a little bit more in here, because you can't really get to the back of it without putting some holes in it. I'm just using these lath screws. They drill into just about anything. There it goes. Look at that. Okay, got body hammers. I'm gonna try to see if something will fit down inside the door, down in that corner. See it? I don't know if you can see it, but it's in there. Try hammering on that. Okay, I mean, from here it looks fine. It's got a lot of, still got a little bit of a dippy dip in there, but we'll call that good. All right, this back area, I took all this apart and reconnected it just to make sure it was a little loose, but the height was good in the back. So then what I'm using is this piece of tubing, and I figured out right where level is because the trailer's level. So pretty much what we have is one of these underneath this is right where we need it to be, height-wise. We're right where we need to be. I'm gonna put supports in the front and come up with some other kind of mount. This is a 2001 Ranger frame and a 51 Ford body. So it's, you know, what is that? 50 years of technology. Okay, we got all the old plywood chunked out. Framing's all ready. So we're gonna come up and over and see where we're sitting. See if we're too low or just right. Added some brackets onto the bumper for the top side, and I adjusted it up a bit, so I've got it sitting pretty good. I used a plate back here to give some clearance. I'm gonna bang that out with a hammer, but that way it's sitting pretty straight. Bed's bolted down here in the back, and I just went ahead and welded it into the frame, and I added some scrap metal here to connect it. This side did that. I welded the two pieces together for the bumper bracket as well, because the bolt holes didn't line up. It's all old, man. So I'm not sure if I want bolts or if I just want to go ahead and weld it down. I mean, I can get to the gas tank through the top of the bed. So I might just weld it down, and then we'll just take the bed floor out, or if we need to get more access, or I mean, we'll have an access door for the top of the tank. Inside this box, it's going to be the truck box, and then also the filler is going to go through the box. I took some flat bar and I just bent this support piece we're missing. It goes inside here into the bed. See, there's one on this side. It's you know, a lot stronger, but something's better than nothing. So there we go. It'll go in there like that. Okay, there's support brace. Kind of like that one, but a lot cheaper. It all tacked in, and I'm gonna go down there. It's pretty straight. All right, so 3 more pieces bolted in. This is just to make it extra stout in case we decide to put some weight in it. Just gonna use 1/2-inch plywood over the top. Then it's just gonna sit down on top of this. Normally it would sit down in here underneath the slip, but I went ahead and connected that down onto the rails. Then we just work around the gas tank. But it's on there, nice and stout. And it's lined up pretty good. Bed is installed, and we got the toolbox in there. All the frame pieces are put in. I ended up cutting this section and raising it up a hair. And then just touched it up with a little brownie just to cover me welds. And now I'm gonna weld on these bolts that I cut off and make a clasp for the clamp. Show you that. Got the latches on there. Just tack welded some different stops. These are the bolts. Now I'm not sure on the length of this, if this is, oh yeah, that'll work, kind of. Might need to shorten these chains a little bit if we want to have a tailgate to sit on. Basically like that. Or we could cut one out and then put a bolt in there. Think about that. Just pried that open. Now I'm gonna move up a link at a time till I get to, you gotta bend a little bit more. Cut a link out on that side, 2 on this other side. Then I just bent this part out so I could get the links in when I cut them. And then I just ground this head off this bolt. This thing's rusted out, so I'm gonna try to get this out of the way here. Grind it a little more to the back if I can. That way we can get that tight. Okay, I opened these up and I finally was able to get through the back of that. I had to kind of blow that out because there's a, I don't know where it went, but there's a big square nut on the back, and that it just was all locked up. So anyway, this will allow me to bolt all the way through this big thick thing. Okay, time to take it down and wash it off, get ready to put the clear coat on it. Then we can get to mounting tires and go back to some mechanical stuff, but I'm gonna do a couple fun things. Sounds good. Okay. He's up there, getting ready for tire change. Gonna put the tire machine together and swap these old ones out for some new ones. Just got to put the machine together. Okay, we got our first first tire on here. We're gonna take out valve stem. Rotates. Okay, so that guy, we're gonna break the bead off. Okay. There it is. Pretty darn easy. Got this gallon of bead sealer. I'm gonna put a little brush in there. It's supposed to help seal the bead. Kind of dries up a little sticky, kind of gooey. Keep the dirt out. Faux X4. Put a little satin clear on it. Ran out on this side, so gotta put some more on it tomorrow. And then I need to make a filler. I need to make a filler door. I decided I'm gonna make a filler door. All right. Beautiful morning out here. Just going to look at a shipping container on a gooseneck trailer. Somebody's looking to get rid of, so I'm going out there to have a look at it. The price is pretty good. We'll see if the trailer's worthy enough to be road ready, but we could use that 20-foot container. Just gorgeous out today. Okay, this is bunch of different things, some urethane that I had laying around, and some spar varnish, semi-gloss on the hood and on the roof and on the interior of this bed. It's still drying. And I did the stain the inside of the bed with the oak stain. Just put some clear on that tailgate. There's the little box that's drying, just to give it a little bit more cleanability. Thought we'd make the hood a little shinier. I'm gonna put that step on here in a minute. We're missing this piece, we need to find that guy. But otherwise, this thing's all dialed in, running good. Gotta clean the windshield. I got some mirrors the other day I'm gonna mount up. I laid it out and that's sitting in there. If I weld that in there, that's gonna be the, something like that. That's gonna be the side mirror. It's pretty sweet. Then we'll leave that other mount and we'll just take the mirror off these little arms. And it'll bolt right onto that one, because that's kind of a nice angle right there for that one. And that's all adjustable, So we're gonna leave this rod and just swap these two out. Just like that. Replace the standard hardware with these carriage bolts from Grandpa's collection. Put this step in for Papa Al. That's all that. That's an air tank, gas dealio. I gotta make a fuel door because I need the fuel filler to be at an angle inside. And when we were at the off-road park, there's an old Chevy that caught on fire, and this was laying around, so I grabbed it. I'll make this the filler door. So I just traced that out, and then I made a line inside where I'm gonna cut inside of that line. So that's gonna be where it'll overlap. I need to come up with some kind of latch. I'll probably just do something on the outside. Nothing fancy. Put a little hinge on that side. So cut it and flatten that out. Cut it open with the nibblers. Okay, here's our filler area that goes down. This is actually inside the box. And then we'll have our door over the top of that. So it should have enough angle to go down. And then we don't really need to fill anything else in down in here, but we might clean her up. Yeah, looks pretty good.